Americans, ships at sea, and all of our worldwide friends. This is Okie. I have got just enough air for a short update. I wanted to give some of those that are interested in this the history of reparations and how it associates to the GCR reset. If you remember, which none of you will, in the Civil War, when the Union defeated the Confederacy, they made reparations to the Confederacy, specifically the black folks, by giving them 40 acres and a mule as reparations. We jumped to World War I. We helped France and Germany reestablish their financial situation by helping them out. Let's jump to World War II. We rebuilt Europe, and we rebuilt Japan. We helped Europe. They were totally devastated by the Second World War, and we had what was called the Marshall Plan in Europe that virtually reestablished all of their economy to where they could become a functional form of government again. Excuse me. Also, at the end of Second World War, 1945, General Douglas MacArthur was given charge of Japan, providing that we left their emperor in power, but the general actually was running the country as such. So we went back in there and we rebuilt Japan. So we rebuilt two countries on opposite sides of the world, reestablished their economy, and they're flourishing now. Now let's jump to 2001. That's when the Iraqi War started. And we all know the outcome of what was happened with the Iraqi War. And let's jump to 2003. Now, in 2003, President Bush issued an executive order, 13303, which I'm sure you've all heard of many, many times. And Executive Order 13303 claims to be an order vital to the reconstruction efforts of Iraq. But if you read it carefully, you realize that the real purpose was to protect oil companies by giving them virtual impunity to any activities undertaken relating to Iraqi oil. Thus far, the mainstream media has completely ignored this order entitled Protecting the Development Fund for Iraq and Other Property in which Iraq has an interest. In the wording of 13303, President Bush declares a national emergency in regards to the protection of the Development Fund for Iraq that was created to fund reconstruction efforts with oil proceeds, as well as all Iraqi petroleum, their products, proceeds, interest, and contracts related to petroleum, as well as profits that ensue from these actions. Executive Order 13303 offers a protection tent to certain persons and entities and assets associated. This order gives a tremendous amount of immunity to individuals and corporations and agencies and others involved in Iraqi oil sales and marketing and other oil-related activities, which include immunity from suits from environmental damage, workplace harms, contractual disputes, and numerous other wrongs. This means that the workers from the companies cannot sue for on-the-job injuries, or the Iraqi people can get no compensation for an oil spill. Similarly, the order protects any assets derived from Iraqi oil from judgment, garnishment, or any other seizure in U.S. courts. Emphasize U.S. courts. Essentially, if a corporation, now here's this is the corker right here. Essentially, if a corporation engages in any illegal activity, even in the U.S., but the efforts are traceable to the Iraqi oil service, they are protected by this order. Now, let's jump up to, we know what 13303 says now. May of 2014. Now, what that done is it removed the protection that Iraq and we had as citizens, in essence, that we could be sued, because I don't suppose he liked the idea of us having being completely exonerated from any type of wrongdoing illegally here in the United States. Good old President Obama. That's for another session. But anyhow, 13303 is still in effect, and as I understand it, 13303 initially came out, and it was a broad-based, worded executive order that was only protecting the Iraqi assets here in the United States and over there too. But at a later date, before he ever published it, I'm sure he had some input from other knowledgeable individuals. They told him, this is protection for the oil companies. This is complete protection for them. Now, how can we as individuals receive a benefit from this? So he put the addition in 13303 of us as citizens having the rights to invest in Iraq, have businesses, do whatever we want to do. In essence, we have a dual citizenship with Iraq, to the extent that we can do anything that an Iraqi citizen can do except vote. But by him putting the part in there that includes American citizens, he made it possible for some of the rich bureaucrats and politicians to jump in and buy Iraqi dinar, whereas before they'd not been able to, or it would not have been of any use to them. So that's where we now stand right now. Is we stand on the precipice here, on the edge of the cliff. We've been told every week we're going to get a reevaluation. It looks imminent now. I'm not predicting any time other than that it's all in God's timing. That's about all I have to say about 13303, and I'm sure I did not include a lot of pertinent information, because there are 3 other executive orders pertaining to this that are relevant, but they won't affect us. So rather than us confuse our minds, let's just look at 13303, the portion that grants us the right, the legal right to participate in this Iraqi dinar and this GCR and this RV. I thank you for listening. I hope we all do better. Thank you for your prayers and support that you've given me during the time of my loss and my sickness. God bless each and every one of you. I love every one of you, and thank you. Goodbye.